the two traditions that really emphasize the Mahamudra practice are the Kkagyu tradition and the Gelek tradition. And many of the practices you find in both Mahamudras are strikingly similar. The one big difference is in the Gelek Mahamudra, it's also important to bring in discursive meditation on emptiness, because one needs to go beyond awareness of mind's luminous nature and simple fact of awareness, which is the luminosity and awareness and absence of materiality. So mind is formless. But in the Gelek Mahamudra, that's one stage, but one needs to also go beyond that. And you need to deconstruct the mind itself and to realize that it's an ultimate nature of mind itself is empty. So that's a little different. In the Kkagyu Mahamudra, there will be much less emphasis on discursive approach. Sometimes even instructions will say, don't do discursive practice. In the Gelek Mahamudra, when you do the more resting the mind practice, so you have basically resting the mind, which is where the energy is more like stillness, evenness, quietening, going through layers and layers of thoughts, and arriving at this very basic, natural, restful state of mind. So that's a kind of a process of increasing level of subtlety and quietude. So that in the Kkagyu tradition, Mahamudra, that aspects tend to be really emphasized. In the Gelek tradition, alongside that aspect, we also need to use discursive inquiry. So this is the vipassana, the insight approach of the path. And so, and the Tsongkhapa's suggestion is that when you develop stability of mind at a very deep level, then the quality of your mind is such that even when you apply discursive analysis, it doesn't disrupt. Because normally in our ordinary mind, the moment we consciously pay attention, it disrupts what you're doing. And then if you are completely absorbed in something, and if you step back and apply kind of, inquiry, again, it disrupts the flow. And that's understandable because one has the functioning of resting and settling down, that the other has the function of a mobility, movement. And generally they are contradictory. One undermines the other. But the suggestion here is that as you deepen in your practice, or Tsongkhapa suggests that you can acquire a very fine balance where analysis does not disrupt resting, where resting does not preclude analysis. And that's a very beautiful, and sometimes this is captured in this phrase, relaxed but alert. Mm-hmm. At the base of your state of mind, there needs to be an absolute relaxedness. But at the core of that relaxedness, there has to be an alertness. So there's a quality of sharpness, of insight. And in the Gelek Mahamudra, that is a very important part of the practice. So I'm so happy that Khensur Rinpoche is teaching this, and he has, he actually presents a very comprehensive instruction, starting right from the beginning from a preliminary practice of purification, then going through the establishing the foundations of, working at the level of intention, appreciation of the opportunity that you have, contemplating impermanence, so there's a sense of urgency and appreciation of value, and then slowly, then plunging into the Mahamudra practice itself, which is, presented in the format of tranquil abiding shamatha, and then insight based upon that. And then the union of the two. So it's wonderful that Khensur Rinpoche is teaching this, and I urge everyone who's interested in in really any skills, especially more advanced practices of observing the mind and applying the mind and tasting that quality that is at a very deep level of mind, which is this serene, quiet, restful, still, and even state of mind. That I think is something that through this teaching, you will at least get a kind of a glimpse of it. And if you're lucky, even a taste of it.